Hello, welcome to Soft Focus. My name is Sophie and I still don't quite know how to introduce videos consistently. I love doing that thing where I tried to watch a film every day last year, but sometimes I found it really hard to decide what to put on. That's why I like having what they call a smart TV these days, which is a television set that manages to crawl into your dreams at night and predicts all the stuff you want to watch according to Amazon, Paramount, Disney and Netflix. So, say I really fancy watching Breeders. Oh, they don't seem to have it on any streaming service. But don't worry, because we decided that you'll probably enjoy this show that has the same title as a film you do like, but it's a completely different thing. This documentary about a murderer, and also this video doorbell. Wow, that is smart. What else can it do? Well, sometimes it puts something up there that looks pretty interesting. Like a D&D movie with Tom Hanks. And he's looking all cheeky in a hood, and I'm pressing play before I've even got my phone out to completely ignore it. I'm a fan of Hanks. Oh, thanks. The Burbs, The Money Pit, Big Splash, Dragnet, The Polar Express. This was Hanks's big break, his first leading role, and one which I knew nothing about. I'd never even heard of it. I guess since it was made for American TV 7 years before I existed. So I was totally in the mood for some fantasy, supernatural, sword and sorcery, where their D&D game becomes real. Get shown a cavern, where this game of mazes and monsters kicked off, and it didn't end well. Ooh, mystery. Kids missing, killed by unknown forces. Who cares? Not these kids. Turns out it's a flash forward to make you persevere through the doldrums of this story though. JJ, Kate and Daniel love to escape their broken home lives by playing Eminem.
I just found out my mom does more dope than I do.
They're pretty high level and could really do with a fourth player to continue. A little more on the somewhat glossed over backstories of the other players. I think they're definitely trying to prove some points here on how promising these kids are, only to have their lives destroyed by this game. Quirky little JJ has to love hats.
Listen, are we playing tonight?
Oh, hell. Not Robbie.
By using our game playing. Hey, welcome to the party.
Why we're introduced to him wearing a German-style pickle helm is still up for interpretation. His mother won't touch or kiss him, and it's clear she hasn't seen him in a while, yet is already close to heading out the door. We learn that she's a famous interior designer and has the shitty habit of renovating her son's room, removing all personality in favour of whatever she wants it to be.
You know I would never do anything to hurt you.
Andy has an IQ of 190 at 16 years old. And he's already a sophomore in college. He really, deep down, wants to be an actor, director, or even a comedian, but he just isn't the leading type. That's foreshadowing. This is what we call foreshadowing. Kate doesn't like her new stepmom much and is suffering from writer's block because she hasn't lived enough yet, or something. And all the boys at school are chauvinists who are scared of smart women and emotions. I'm sensing projection. And this guy, who I instantly forgot the name of even though I was writing this script while watching it. Daniel is feeling very suffocated by his parents' wishes for him to do very well in all the ways that they want him to.
Your father and I love you very much, Daniel.
He's also a genius, and girls don't like him because he is too gorgeous.
Everybody kids me about being the great makeout champion or something. You know what that does to any girl who's sensitive or caring? She's decided I'm bad news before I've had a chance to prove I'm not.
They're all so promising. But this really doesn't matter that much, because Robbie's family life is the most dysfunctional. His parents are fighting in the car on the way to driving into college. His mum's a drunk, his brother's missing, but we don't know about that yet. He was told not to play Mazes and Monsters because he already got kicked out of his last school for playing too much, and his grades took a dive. But that never stops role players. They always have a die in their clenched fist. The allure of starting a new game was just too great for a new kid in need of friends, and so their adventures begin. Robbie plays a cleric, and the other ones also have characters, I guess. Kate and Robbie develop a relationship, and JJ decides to top himself in a local cave.
Remember the good time.
Boy genius, suicides in caverns.
I have no idea of the time frame of this film, by the way. This could have all happened in the first couple of weeks for all I know. Robbie buys a double bed so they can like live together in case like, oh, it's too soon, it's so awkward. But like I said, it could have been any period of time. They just cram everything into this one montage.
Remember the good time.
Anyway. Oh, fuck. Anyway, this cave is totally badass, with twists and turns and pools and stalactites and even stalagmites. This gets JJ excited to make a real M&M game. The kid has just invented LARPing. So he decides not to kill himself, but then kills his character so he can DM this new game where they will live out their fantasy.
It won't be a fantasy. It really will be mazes and monsters.
Meanwhile, Robbie is having persistent nightmares about his missing brother, which is currently in no way connected. He ran off to New York, you see, and they never heard from him again. It's that foreshadowing again. It's important. So I'm sitting here thinking, oh yeah, here we go. Here we go. These caves are fucking magic. And we're going to get old Toontown in there. We're going to get old Cool World, and we're going to find Robbie's brother in there banging a smoking hot cartoon. So JJ is mega into this campaign, and he even steals a dead body. To be fair, he's a really good DM.
Some skeletons possess mystical powers.
You have 2 questions.
These caves are incredible for teenagers sneaking around because nobody can even hear Robbie beating a monster to death with a rock. Of course, his friends are very happy because he saved the party.
It is all right now. I have slain the Gorville.
And I'm like, right, was this magic? What just happened here? So I'm still believing this is magic. I believe in magic.
The most frightening monsters are the ones that exist in our minds.
Unfortunately, Robbie's getting a bit too obsessed with M&M again, committing to the bit and remaining in character, the cleric Pardue, at all times. He's having dreams about the Great Hall telling him bros before hoes, so he breaks up with Kate and spends his life looking all awkward and drawing maps. See, he needs his body to be pure and abstinent. This story has themes. He needs to be pure. His body, his mind, his spirit need to be pure so he can go on this quest. At this stage, I'm still thinking, anytime now, the Great Hall will need the party's help, and all these maps here are going to be really, really useful in this magic cave world. Yeah, then Robbie disappears after the Great Hall tells him to go to the 2 towers. Can't find him anywhere. So they're puzzling over this while telling the police. While not really telling the police, because they don't want to implicate themselves.
Robbie a doper.
And they just say, well, probably dead.
We have no idea where the body is. He's dead.
Also, Kate and Daniel are dating now. None of this actually matters. Any minute now, any second, just go to the caves. I bet there's like there's a door or a clue or a spell, because it's magic, right? Right? Nope, it's New York. I am laughing myself to tears because I was this hopeful for this movie, and now Tom Hanks is stabbing a man who he believes to be another monster in a psychotic break. How could I have been so wrong? I wafted the thought away earlier. I was like, oh, I bet he's imagining all this. Wouldn't it be funny? Would it be funny if he was mentally ill? Hilarious, Sophie. The visuals are pretty cool though. That juxtaposition of reality and fantasy. It's a great monster. But yeah, mental illness. Seeing all this blood on himself snaps him out of the delusion enough to call Kate from a payphone.
Kate, I'm in New York.
Fortunately, JJ is from New York and he's also very, very rich, so just go to his apartment and the gang will be there to help. That's a proper bit of peril right there. Will they make it in time? Ooh. Well, on his way over to Jay's, he has another little brain wobble and ends up down in the subway. Wouldn't be D&D without a bit of dungeon crawling. And, is that a dragon we hear? No, it's a train. A very nice man lives there.
I am Pardieu. I am a holy man.
I'm the King of France.
Your Majesty.
Who directs Robbie to Twin Towers. Of course, it's so obvious. It's not Tolkien. It's the World Trade Center. Well, at least it's also obvious to the party when he's still not showing up at JJ's. By the way, even though JJ's friend might have murdered a guy and is currently wandering around New York City having a psychotic episode, he's chuffed to bits that his mum has finally decorated his room the way he likes it.
I love it. I love it. Don't you love it, Merlin?
Birds can't talk.
I don't know how big New York actually is, really, in reality, so I did research this. We have to assume that their university is near-ish New York, because Robbie got there with no money since he left his wallet at home, and he doesn't know how he got there. He calls Kate on 40th and 8th. JJ lives at 605 East 70th, and also, first of all, what the hell do people understand this? I'm sure you do. But they don't tell us where in New York they are, because these numbers, like, what does this mean? There are so many numbers all over this map. So depending on whether this is Manhattan or Brooklyn, Robbie might have to walk 3 hours 49 minutes in the dark. If they're both Brooklyn, it's a nice and tidy 40 minutes. But I'm assuming since World Trade Center, he's in Manhattan, and JJ also lives in Manhattan, in this hospital. So it's a mere 1 hour, 4 minute walk. Easy. Easy for a man with a mental health crisis. Easy. I know that someone who knows New York will know exactly where these places are, exactly the station he ends up in, and exactly the route he takes to end up at the Twin Towers. But that all I know is that he does. The most unbelievable bit being that they all reach the Twin Towers at roughly the same time, despite the party driving there, through New York traffic. So I guess Robbie was maybe just ambling about for a few hours and stabbing more guys. Since this was pre 9/11, obviously, it is so easy for them to just get on the fucking roof.
Robbie!
Robbie! Robbie!
Robbie! Robbie! Pardieu! What are you doing?
He's going to join the Great Hall on the pavement from up here.
I have spells. I'm going to fly.
He's only snapped out of this state by being called Pardieu, his cleric's name. And then he goes all sad.
JJ, what am I doing here? Kate, why can't I remember?
Of course, at the end, everything is all tied up in a neat little bow, in that JJ is a director of the theatre arts department. Daniel is going to be captain of industry at computer software, whatever that is. And Kate is finally writing her novel about this whole horrible debacle. Kate, Daniel and JJ visit Robbie, who has been retired to the old farm, and he's just full on gone. He is forever Pardieu.
Robbie! Oh, you look terrific.
Yeah, you really do.
Freelick. Well, shall we not begin the
When
quest?
they realise they're not getting through to him, they agree to go on one last adventure, basically placating a boy's unwell mind.
I've seen the spirits dance in this lake in the evenings. They sing a song not unlike yours, Freelick.
But they're doing fab, being whatever they want it to be, with all of that useless backstory. As with every great film, it has a suitably great ending.
We played the game again, for one last
With
time.
Kate's voiceover saying they never saw him again after this. Robbie's still out there somewhere, adventuring to this very day. So the moral of the story is, I don't really know. I was a bit wrong about my first impressions, which I think probably made it even better. Because if it was just another sword and sorcery movie, I wouldn't still be thinking about this stupid fucking film. It's based on a book by Rona Jaff, penned in 1981, inspired largely by the late 70s steam tunnel incidents. It's an urban legend where kids started playing live D&D and disappeared into the utility tunnels of the school. In reality, a guy called James Dallas Egbert III had gone into the tunnels to commit suicide, and when he failed, he hid at various houses of his friends. Role-playing games had just started becoming a thing, and like anything fun, it was easier to be spun as a tragic incident due to a dangerous new craze, rather than mental health. The man doesn't want you to have fun or talk about why you're having a bad time and not having any fun. Was Mazes and Monsters a satanic panic novel come movie to drum up the fear in parents? Or was it a look at schizophrenia, mental health and escapism? The susceptibility of teens and young adults to problems that people are more keen to sweep under the rug than to actually help. All the characters have fucking awful home lives and nobody to talk to about it. Pairing that with high expectations and pressure of college, of course they're gonna go goblin mode in a cave. Haven't read the book, because it won't have nearly enough. Turn to page 65 if you have the shiny button. I want to choose my own adventure and make Tom Hanks the new king of the New York subway system. Thank you for watching this dip into a piece on what keeps me up at night. I am so grateful to my patrons and my viewers. If you feel like you need to talk to someone about any of the themes in this film or my video, I've got some links in the description below. This is something that I do feel very strongly about, that it shouldn't be taboo and that access to help and understanding is something that everyone deserves. If you or a loved one is suffering from LARPing, get help.